Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Festival of Quilt Weeks and it's Nettie here. So, how's your Tuesday? I'm just going to wait and see if anyone comes on, but I'll start in a few minutes anyway. So, let's have a quick slurp. Loving every stitch, so they say. So, what are we talking about today? After the slip. So what we're talking about is we're talking about Festival Quilts and about entering a quilt into Festival Quilts. Now I've done, I've submitted 4 quilts now into Festival Quilts. The first one didn't quite get shown, not really sure why. It was entered but it wasn't put up for some reason. I did get it back, so that's good news. But it was featured in magazine. This was Sew magazine, and this was April 23. So it was featured as a star letter there. So it got a bit of recognition, which is nice. Yeah, so I was a bit disappointed that one didn't. That was my first one anyway. So I've entered 4, and you can sort of see one on the table. That's the last one. So it can be really daunting when you sort of first start quilting. You're not quite sure whether what you're doing is right. Are you using the right colours? Are you doing the right quilting technique? Is your patchwork any good? You know, you just have loads of self-doubt. We all think our work's not good enough, especially to be displayed. But if people didn't display it, we wouldn't have an international festival of quilts, and that would be an awful shame. So I did pick up the courage a couple of years ago to enter my first one, and I was really proud of it, and I entered it in. Unfortunately, as I said, it didn't get hung, so it wasn't judged, but my other 3 were. Even though it wasn't judged, it didn't put me off. I thought, no, I'm still going to try again. I think for me, I wanted a bit of validation that people who knew what they were talking about actually thought I was on the right track, which gave me the boost to carry on. Because I've went to give up patchwork and quilting many times over the years. When things got difficult or didn't go right, things went wrong all the time, I thought, you know what, this isn't for me, let me move on. But entering the quilts into Festival Quilts, it was daunting, it was really scary. It is a lot of hard work, actually, making sure that you're happy with your quilt and then submitting it and getting there. It can be quite a stressful process, and you do have to pay. It's not a free entry, but I did it really because I wanted some validation that maybe I was going in the right direction. Was I doing things the right way? Did people like my work outside of friends and family going, oh yeah, that's nice, Nettie, you know, with a big smile on the face, and you're thinking, no, you hate that. So I'm going to get straight into this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the quilts that I've made, explain a little bit about them, show you sort of what you would see if you went to Festival Quilts, i.e. in the show guide, what's displayed, and then I'm going to go through the judges' comments on each quilt as well. So you've sent your quilt off, it's now hanging in Festival Quilts. What happens? It goes in the competition catalogue under the category that you've entered it in. There's lots of categories and I won't bore you with that now. But the full description of why you made that quilt, how you made it, anyone else involved, it's all in the guide, so everybody can read it, and that's really important. And if you are going to Festival Quilts, I would recommend that you do get a show guide, because if you don't, all you see when you go to see a quilt hanging up is that's the only information that you'll see. So you'll have no idea about why that person made it, how they made it, what the techniques were, etc. So there's no history behind it. So you do need one of these. And also, if you are going to enter a quilt into Festival Quilts, even though the likelihood of you winning is quite rare when you think about it. There aren't that many prizes, and the quilts that do win are just amazing. They really are. But don't let that put you off. You should still enter. You should still get your work judged. I think that's a really good idea. It will give you a boost, or it will give you an indicator and maybe what you need to focus on in the future if you carry on. But this is a lovely little souvenir reminder of you submitting your work, why you submitted it, and I've always kept all my show guides. Okay, so I'm going to start with a quilt called Fabulously Floral Block of the Month, and I entered this, oh god, when was it? It wasn't last year, it was the year before, I think, so 2 years ago. I entered this into the contemporary category, and you'll see why, because I'll show you the quilt here. So I hang all my quilts up folded like this. So this is, I'm just going to walk back and show you the quilt, and then I'll come back to you. So this is a modern floral block of the month quilt that I made, and it was done in the quilt as you go method, and it's finished with a pom-pom trim. And I just called it Fabulously Floral because I did think it was fabulously floral. I've never done a modern quilt before, you can see there. Okay, and I did it as quilt as you go because I'll bring it a bit closer to show you to the screen. As you can see, each block is individually quilted depending on the design in the flower, and all the threads are colour coded as well. The background is just a meander, a stipple, basically, to make the flower pop. It gives that little bit of a 3D effect. And on the back, it's just completely floral on the back. Oh, excuse me. It's completely floral on the back, and the seams do disappear on the back. They're obvious on the front, but they're not on the back. Okay, so that is the first quilt. Okay, so let's see what the judges thought of that. Now, when you get judged, there are 3 judges, and they each mark their work in secret. Okay, so you get 3 judges' comments, and the categories are design and construction. And within design, you get judged on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, and in construction on 4. So for this quilt, visual impact, emotional response, it got satisfactory. Originality, content, it got good. Design, composition and colour was satisfactory. Choice and suitability of materials was excellent. And the surface design embellishment, that wasn't applicable. Okay, that's when like people embellish it with jewels and beads, etc, etc. So I was quite happy with that because I got satisfactory, good, excellent. I mean, getting 1 excellent just blew my mind. I was really pleased. This isn't my pattern, by the way. This is a pattern that was designed by John Cole Morgan, and I bought the fabric packs off him. The backing and the pom-pom trim was my idea, but the fabric packs came with the pattern each month, and I stopped after 9 blocks because I did find it quite challenging and they're quite big. It should have been 12 blocks, but I'd reached my limit by 9 blocks. I was happy with that. Okay, we move on to construction. It says piecing, construction and accuracy was satisfactory. Well, it was a foundation paper pieced project, so I don't know how you can really go wrong with a foundation paper pieced project. So, however, there was no applique on it. Quilting design and execution was satisfactory, and the edges, suitable finish, hangs well, satisfactory. It said the comments, judges' comments, a straight design with soft surroundings, some details disappear on the background, or that was deliberately done. So whilst there was some good comments on that, there was some that I was like, scratching my head about. So that was the first judge. But bear in mind, these are all to go through judging courses, and they've been quilting for a long time, so they do know what they're talking about. Okay. So the second judge, for visual impact, emotional response, good. Originality, content, satisfactory. Design, composition, colour, good. Choice and suitability, materials, good. Surface design, embellishment, applicable, sorry. Piecing was good. The quilting was good, so I was really pleased on that one. And then the edges, suitable finish, hangs well. I got an excellent on that. Now that just made my year, because I was really not sure whether the pom-pom trim would go down very well at Festival Quilts. I hadn't seen the pom-pom trim actually entered on a competition quilt before. And it's not my idea. That idea came from Tracy Perks from the Rope and Anchor Trading Company, because I'd seen her use pom-pom trim on one of her quilts, and I really thought that's going to go great on this. The quilt looked bare without the pom-pom trim, put it this way. And I think the green pom-pom trim made it. It was all about fabulously floral, garden theme, and I just felt that it just, to me, the pom-pom trim was like the green grass border around the floral bed. That was, in my mind, that's what I was thinking of. Okay. So the judge wrote, what a successful result after a year of work and learning, result after a year of work and learning. The pom-poms really set it off. Well done. So that judge was really engaged in why I used them. So I was really chuffed on that one. That really made my day. The final one, I got satisfactory on visual impact. Originality was good and satisfactory on design, composition, colour and choice of suitability of materials. The piecing was good, so again that gave me a real boost. The quilting was marked as satisfactory and the edges were also again marked as satisfactory. So a bit of a mixed bag, you can see there, but I think overall over the three you can see that it was well received by the judges overall. The piecing was satisfactory overall, maybe excellent or good in some parts as well. So I was really pleased on that as well. That was one of my first foundation paper piece projects, by the way, as well, especially on those big blocks. I'd never done anything like that before. It was also my first attempt at Quilt as you go. I'd never done that before, and it was also my first attempt at doing free motion stippling. I'd never done that much free motion quilting before, so I was really pleased by that. So yeah, so you might look and think, oh, satisfactory, but when you think about it, nothing needed attention. You know, there was no negative comments that the judges wrote. So overall, I was really pleased on that one. So the next one we're going to move on to is this one, which some of you might seen if you've been to my Manx log cabin. So this is a Manx log cabin quilt. And I laid it out in a modern format. So I'm going to open it up and show you what I mean by that. Okay. So this is Manx log cabin. Now normally a Manx log cabin, when you lay it together, it forms a cross with the pattern in the middle. And that has religious connotations. And I didn't really want to do that. I wanted to mix this up. So this is my Manx. It's only a mini quilt. It's not a big one. But I laid mine out completely different, and I had the centre blue box in like a diamond shape in the middle. Difficult to see, but I have got a picture of this there, okay? And then on the back, you can see how it's been laid out on the back. Now it's all tilde, and that's the tilde version as well. And I laid it out like this. So it was really modern. I entered this into the traditional category, really. And it is a traditional, you know, it's a historic quilting technique. But I did enter it into the traditional. Now this is completely hand sewn. All the blocks are hand sewn. And it's all been pieced together, hand sewn. The binding has been hand sewn. Everything's hand sewn on this. But the problem is when I hung it, and obviously these have to be hung a festival quilt. So you can see here it's got a hanging collar. They have to hang a festival quilt. Now, because Manx was never designed to hang, what I found was it was putting the weight of it was putting a lot of pressure on the seams. So what I did, bearing in mind there's a lot of explanation about this quilt in my admission in my submission in the competition, is I used this decorative stitch here, a patchwork stitch, and it reminded me of the handmade fences in the Isle of Man, the village of Cregnish, where this technique originated from. And so that's why I used that. So that is the only stitching that has been done by machine on this quilt, and I only did it because I had to reinforce the seams, otherwise it wouldn't have hung right. It was putting too much pressure. You know, these were never meant to be hung, they were meant to be laid on a bed or on a floor to keep you warm. So basically that was it. And so this was the label that you see on the wall. So it's the Manx log cabin, and it was called Memories of Cregnish. And that's because when I first went to Cregnish and I saw this technique being done, it blew my mind. And all the colours that I use are reflective of, there's a photograph I took of Cregnish on that day. and all the colours are reflective in that photograph. And it's a shame you can't put the photograph in the catalogue, but I did try to explain that in the description, so the judges would have seen that description as they went around. So let's get into the judges' comments. Again, 3 judges. So, visual impact, satisfactory. Originality, content, satisfactory. Design, composition, colour, satisfactory. Choice and suitability of materials was good. The construction was good. Now, it's a quilt and design and execution not applicable. So, I think because I'd actually machine stitched over it, maybe they just thought we'll not judge on that. And then edges, suitable finish, hangs well, and I got good for that. It said an interesting construction, very neatly put together. The colours are gentle and work together well. So that was confirmation that my idea behind the quilt was appreciated by that judge. The next judge, visual impact was good, originality was good, design and composition was good, choice and suitability of materials was good, the surface design embellishment was satisfactory, the piecing was good, and the edges were good. And it just said a good use of the Manx technique. I think they were having a bit of a rush day, to be honest. And the final one, visual impact good, originality, content good, design, composition, colour satisfactory, choice and suitability materials good. And now this one's been I didn't get any mark for piecing on this one. It's completely, the category was completely unmarked, which is very bizarre. Quilting, design and execution satisfactory, and I got good for that. And in their comments, he said an innovative log cabin design which uses your fabric to good effect. Thank you for sharing this with us. So I think it was appreciated overall. So there was a few little inconsistencies in the judging on that, really. And funnily enough, one of the judges came up to me when I was at the quilt looking at it, and she said, "Is this your quilt?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "Would you mind talking me through your process and everything?" So I told her a bit more about it and why I'd done what I'd done. And she was absolutely fascinated, and she said that if she'd been judging it, she would have judged it excellent to good. So that was good news. So anyway, that quilt meant a lot to me as well, because I was really ill when I made that quilt, and I taught myself the process, and I hand quilted all that in the month of October 22, I think it was. So it meant a lot to me. So I was slightly disappointed with that, but I knew it was it wasn't the traditional way of that Manx should be displayed. And I think in hindsight, I should have laid it out in a more traditional method, and maybe it would have had a greater impact, and the comments might have been a little bit different. Also as well, they did hang that Manx log cabin next to the biggest quilt I've ever seen in my life at festival. So mine looked like a little postage stamp next to this big monster of a quilt. So I do think how they actually hang a quilt at festival can also have an impact on how the judges emotionally react to that as well. Now finally, let's get on to Kazuna. Now I can't lift this up for you. You will have seen this on my Instagram last year. This is Kazuna, and this is a quilt that I designed. And the Manx log cabin was my design as well. So this is a quilt that I designed. I was gifted the fabrics from Craft Cotton Company, and these were from Lucy Pixley from Pretty So Mindful. Her first collection, I think it was Meditations. I always get this wrong. Meditations on Japan, and I just loved it. Now I had quite a bit of fabric, but a limited number of fabric. And initially the pattern was all the arcs completely, and it was beautiful. But it would have needed about 20 metres of fabric, because this is all done foundation paper piecing, and it's foundation paper piece and traditionally pieced as well. There's a lot of curved piecing in it, as you can see. I'll try and bring a little bit over here so you can see there's a lot of curved piecing. This is foundation paper pieced here. These are traditionally pieced. There's a lot of curves. There's curves in this as well. So this is foundation piece, so is that, but the rest is just traditionally pieced curves. And then we get down to it. Now what I had to do, because I didn't have enough fabric to carry on with the arcs, I then had to design something else. So I've got this design at the end, and all the fabric is directionally placed, so there is a top and a bottom to this quilt. I did have a lot of empty space, void space, and so that took a lot of quilting. So again, it's just a general stipple. It feels beautiful. It took 22 hours to quilt, and with this one, what I did with this one is I loved the edging on this. I loved the way I had these little half moons here, and when it hung up, I loved just this green here. I did do this slightly wider than normal. It's probably about 5/8 of an inch binding, so it's slightly bigger, and it's all hand stitched on the back, and it's all quilted on my Memory Craft 6700p as well, so I did all of this myself. You can see there's a lot of quilting. Again, there's various different types of quilting all the way through. This was the biggest bit. So anyway, I was quite proud of this. It's really heavy as well. It's on my bed all the time. I love that quilt. Anyhow, so that got to judging. So this was in the contemporary category. So there's the wall tag. Okay, and again it just says it said maker Jeanette Gustafson, Netty Made, designed by Jeanette Gustafson from Netty Made. So that was on the wall. In the catalogue, it said it was designed by Lucy Pixley. So, oh no, that wasn't that one. It was Lucy's one. I designed Lucy's floating lanterns, and they'd got that mixed up and put the wrong one on. So, but my one was right. Sorry, yeah. So, a bit traumatic that time. So, let's get on to what they thought about Kazuna. And I loved this quilt. It was a labour of love, put it that way. Put me off curved piecing for a long time, but not forever. I will go back and do it. So, visual impact, good. Originality, content, good. Now, as a quilt designer of my own quilts, I was really pleased with that. And I think if it had been the original design and I hadn't had to change it, I think it would have blown them, because it was stunning. And one day I will go back and do that. Design, composition and colour was good. Now the colour, let me just talk about the colour quickly. You might be wondering why I've used peach and greens. Well, the Pantone and the Kona colours of 2024 were mint julep and I think it was peach fuzz. So they were peach and green, which reminded me, that took me right back to 1994, I think it was, because they were the colours of 1994, and I know that because I bought carpet in a greeny peachy fleck, and I had dark green and peach floral curtains, so it just shows your colours come round. This year the colour are mocha and like a deep purple, so that's why I use them colours. If you're wondering why those colours, those colours are actually in Lucy's fabric, so they were picked out of there as well. So I was quite pleased that they liked the design and composition and colour. Choice and suitability of materials was good as well. The construction and accuracy was good. Well, I mean, that quilt was rushed and there was an awful lot of curved pieces, so I was really pleased with that. The quilting design and execution was good, so I was really pleased with that. Edges, suitable finish, hangs well, satisfactory. And it said, so good to have a reason to design your quilt, which has memories. Thank you for entering. So I thought that was quite nice. Okay. So next judge, visual impact, good. Originality, content, good. Design, composition, colour, good. Choice and suitability of materials, satisfactory. Piecing and construction was satisfactory. Quilting design and execution was satisfactory, and the edges were satisfactory. It had a very original layout with excellent use of both colour and value contrast. So I got excellent use of both colour and value, and yet when it came to design, composition and colour, they just put good. Anyhow, construction and accuracy was good. Design and execution, construction accuracy was satisfactory. Design and execution was satisfactory. Edges, finish, hangs well, satisfactory. So yeah, that was okay. Now this one was very controversial, and those who know me know it gave me a bit of trauma for quite a while. So final judge, whoever LS is, thank you for this. Visual impact, good. Originality, content, good. Design, composition, good. Choice and suitability of materials, good. Piecing, construction and accuracy, good. Quilting design and execution was satisfactory. edges, seasonal finish hangs well, needs attention. Now it was perfectly square. It hung beautifully on the wall. So I can only assume that the edges meant the binding. Oh, something just flew past my screen there. And I did, as I said, I did use a bit of a wider binding on that one, and there was a reason behind that. I didn't really make that quite clear in my description, so maybe that's my fault. Yeah, so the comments there were, you clearly enjoyed making this lovely piece, a testament to friendship, well done. And if you read the instructions, you know why I made it. Kazuna is a Japanese word for friendship, and bonds of friendship as well, so that's why I use that. So they are the judges, and I've kept them all, and you do get these plaques back. If you enter a quilt, you do get plaque back, okay? So you get to keep them as a little souvenir, along with your show guide. So overall, what did I take from all of them? Well, it made me realise that I was doing something that other people quite liked. Maybe my skills maybe my quilting, well, I know my quilting skills, and maybe even my piecing skills in certain aspects can be improved and worked upon. I have since done one more quilt as you go quilt, because I swore blind to never do one, but I did, and that was a community quilt that I did for Gateway Collective recently, and that was an asymmetrical block quilt, which was a bit of a nightmare, but it turned out well. And I think doing that first quilt a couple of years ago, the Fabulously Floral one, really I learned a lot making that. I think it was quite brave to submit my first Quilt As You Go project. In hindsight, that probably wasn't the best thing to do. But I was really proud of it, I was proud of everything I've made. I've been really proud of. And I was quite pleased overall with all the comments. You're not going to get perfect. You'd have to be a miracle worker, I think, to get perfect. Excuse me, I need another drink, sorry. I had loads of sleep last night. Why is it when you have loads of sleep you end up and you're still tired? So yeah. So it was really interesting. It's not put me off putting another quilt in. I haven't got a quilt this year. I would have put one in, but my focus was on getting the community quilt finished for the beginning of July for the garden. So that took up a lot of my time this year. I have got a foundation, my second foundation paper piece quilt that's going to go next year. That's a 70-inch square ballerina. That's a big quilt, and I'm still in the process of collecting all the shades of fabrics that I need for that. There's about 30 meters of fabric that's needed, so that's going to be a major one. So I will be focusing on that throughout the next sort of 10 months or so. So yeah. So it's not put me off, and I don't think it shouldn't put you off really. If you're proud of something that you've made, and enter it into Festival Quilts. The year that this one, Seminole Sunrise, was entered, it was actually a stack and whack quilt, because this is a stack and whack quilt with Seminole patchwork on the border. It was actually a stack and whack quilt very similar to Seminole Sunrise that won in the beginners category. And if you've been, excuse me, sorry, I do apologise, boring myself. Thank you for watching, if you're still watching. If you've been quilting for up to 3 years, then the beginners category is where you want to go into. And so enter into the beginners category, and definitely think about doing it. And even if you just do it once, it's an experience, and it's really proud to see your work hanging up. And some people will like it, some people will hate it. You will get quilt police, you will get quilt snobs. But for me, when I go around and I see anybody's quilts, I'm just always amazed that they've actually done. There's always something different there to what you ever imagined could be done on a quilt. And it blows my mind. And that's why I really enjoy going to Festival Quilts as well. So it's not just about this. I mean, it did upset me about the edges on the binding on Kazuna, because I was really proud of that. It was the perfect binding. I've never been prouder of binding all my life, and it did upset me, but then obviously, you know, it's subjective, isn't it? You know, some people will like your work, some people won't. I love my Frida Kahlo picture there. People hate it, they think it's really spooky, but I really love it. It's a Lee Ellis design. So, you know, quilting is art. Art's subjective. You know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You just do what you are proud of doing and submit your work, get it judged, and then you can learn from that. Then you can think, right, well, maybe I need to work on this, maybe I need to work on that. Being judged has helped me be more careful with my piecing. I'm now not just going, oh, that'll do, you know, I'll iron it into submission. No, I am unpicking and redoing, for sure. It's made me go away and research, like skill build really, to research, learn new methods of doing things, easier ways of doing things. Quilting doesn't need to be hard. You know, there's all these magic ways of making these blocks, and I get confused by them, and sometimes just going back to basics is the best thing to do. And like my beginner's block of the month this year is totally back to basics, learning all the skills, right from putting 2 triangles together, that type of thing. You can go away and learn the magic 8 or the magic 32, what have you, or how to do, you know, 4 flying geese at one time at a later stage when you want to speed up your work. But if you just want to know how to do accurate piecing, then you do need to go back to basics, for sure. And for me, I think I'm a basic quilter. I like easy quilting, easy patchwork, easy quilting. I love straight line quilting, and I know this is controversial, but I do love a zigzag. It's just me. I love a zigzag stitch. A lot of people don't like zigzag stitch. And actually on previously Floral, I think someone said, oh yeah, so it said possibly the zigzag stitches on the sashing should have been avoided. But I actually thought the zigzag stitching really made it. It finished it off. It didn't look, for me when I looked at the quilt, it didn't look finished. But that's just me. And no other judge picked up on the zigzag stitch. So for me, it's sort of confirmed my opinion that it was the right thing to do. So, and with regards to Kazuna, I mean, overall, Kazuna got really well received. It was mainly goods. It was only the etching that needed attention. I think I was a bit shocked because it was the first judge that had ever said anything had submitted needed attention as well. And you just panic and think, oh my God, it's awful. It wasn't awful. It's just, it was a wider border and it was a wider binding than normal. And maybe she just thought it didn't look right, but you know, we'll wait and see. Now, the other thing I want to say is, even if you don't win, and the likelihood is that, you know, we won't win. I'll never win a quilt competition in my life. I know that for sure, because I've seen the winners and they just go, that just blow your mind. How these people think of these things is beyond me. They've just got a skill set that I will never, and I know will never have, but I'm not into patchwork and quilting to win competition and praise. I do it because I love it, and I'm really into the technique of it. I love the history of it. It blows my mind when you can take a piece of fabric and do this to it and turn it into something else. And something else has just flown past. That's really weird. That looked like a white butterfly, but I'm in my house. Anyhow, yeah, so, you know, I'm not about the prizes and everything. I mean, it'd be lovely if you won one, but I mean, it's just going to be a little trophy on a shelf collecting dust, isn't it? For me, I just love seeing people I see, like, my son has got the first quilt I ever made, which is absolutely awful. I knew nothing about fabric content, about matching seams. None of the seams match. It's got polyester in there, it's got flannel in there, it's got cotton, it's got nylon, it's got jersey, everything, you name it. It's all cut into 5-inch square. It's all stretched out. But anyway, absolutely loves it. Still uses it to this day, and that is getting on for nearly 6 years since I made that now. And he won't give it me back, so I can unpick it and quilt it so there's no tucks on the back. It's absolutely awful, but he loves it and he won't let me have it back. And that's because it was made of all the fabrics that from his university days, and also when he was a holiday rep, all his t-shirts and that, so he loves it. So yeah, it's the fact that he's still loving that, it gives me a lot of joy. and that's something that I made. And I love being able to just use my patchwork skills and transfer that into household. So like, you know, being able to change my cushions. If I want some oven gloves, I can run up oven gloves. If I want storage, I can make a storage bag, or, you know, whatever, or Christmas bag, Christmas sack, whatever, you make a Christmas mat or something. Then I just love that. And that's it. I just love sewing, really. And also I love sewing machines and how they work and the whole technique, really. So it's not about winning projects. It's about just about enjoying the process. But the judging, really, you know, if I never put another quilt into Festival Quilts again, it won't bother me at all. I've had a little bit of validation that I'm doing something right, and I'm happy with that. You know, and I know friends and family always told me, yeah, I never believed them. I just thought they were being polite and nice. But turns out maybe I've got something. Anyhow, surprise, surprise, here's me feeling a bit down after Kazuna. Sort of happy but down, really strange. Anyhow, I get home, and in September last year, the Quilting magazine turns up. And what's featured as a festival roundup. So obviously they featured all the winners in all the categories, but then they also did a festival roundup, and they did a 2-page spread. Can you see Kazuna there in all its glory? Yeah, featured on the same page as Jo Avery, a temperature quilt. Excuse me. I mean, just look at the different quilts on that page. It's just amazing, the variety of quilts that you see. These were all hanging at festival. I saw this one. When I grow up and I become a proper quilter, I'd love to be able to do something like this. I mean, just amazing. I mean, look at that. How do you even go about quilting that or piecing that? It's just amazing, isn't it? So I was really pleased. I wasn't expecting this at all. And this is the Quilter magazine from the Quilters Guild. So I was absolutely chuffed about my quilt. So that sort of made me realise that, yeah, Kazuna was a nice quilt, because otherwise they wouldn't have featured it in there. So I was really chuffed by that. So that's basically it. So oh gosh, sorry, that's me nodding, knocking the wire. Sorry for making you dizzy. So I just wanted to say, because it is coming up to Festival Quilts, I'm nearly packed. I've still got quite a bit to do. It's been a long prep, but I'm heading off to Festival Quilts tomorrow afternoon. Go and collect all my bits and bobs, and then I've got a whole day with my friend Heidi on the Thursday to do our own thing, and we are booked onto a Swedish embroidery workshop in the afternoon, so I'm quite excited about that. I'm going to go and see Keith on Friday morning, get his new Quilts in London book signed. So I'm going to do that. I've got a workshop Friday, I've got a workshop Saturday, I've got a workshop Sunday. They are all fully booked, so all the kits are prepped and ready, and the kits are gorgeous this year. So if you're coming along to the class, first of all, thank you for booking on, and secondly, you're going to love the kits this year. We've got little extra goodies as well, a little bit of a surprise. The workshops are all Manx. If you don't know, they're all Manx on Cabin as well, because I just love teaching it. And the Friday one always seems to like sell out really quickly. And Saturday and Sunday have just, they've sold out about 3 weeks ago. So it's nice to know that you're bringing something that people at festival want to do. And also for me, spreading the love of Manx and how easy this quilting technique is just blows my mind. There's lots of things that you can do. I've done lots of extra samples this year to show people how they can, like, you know, zhuzh it up basically and change it around and take the Manx into other types of patchwork as well. So yeah, so I'm nearly ready. I'm there till Sunday. I can't wait. And yeah, I'm making slippers on Sunday morning. I can't even remember how we're making slippers. I think they're quilted slippers. So that'll be interesting. I'm doing that in 90 minutes, so it'll be interesting to see if we actually finish that. I'm not sure whether we've got a workshop on Saturday. I can't remember now anyway. But yeah, I'm really excited to see all the quilts. It looks like it's going to be a big exhibition this year as well. So I'll try and do some lives while I'm there. Oh yeah, I'm going to be in a live with the So Happy Quilters Association around about 4 o'clock on the Friday, I think it is. So if you go over to their Facebook page, I'll interviewed by Rachel from the So Happy Quilters Association after my workshop on Friday afternoon, about 4ish, so I'll see you then if you're there. Finally, I just wanted to finish off because anyone who knows me knows that I jump from projects. I have loads of UFOs, unfinished objects, you know, or works in progress. I don't sort of say that works in progress because works in progress implies that you're actually working on them. And unfortunately, I don't work on a lot of these. So I just wanted to show you my Netty UFOs projects. So this is my, I kept a record of all the projects. Okay, some of them are just blank because they've not been started. You can see there. So projects I've finished, I've started. That quilt actually sold, I should update that. Now everything you can see, like that one there, that was a commission that I finished. Oops, things just fell down. Oh, it's only John's got photographs. Yeah, that was foundation. So yeah, it needs updating. Oh, there's the Manx. So, it does need updating, but I haven't updated it since January 24, so it's a long time. And at January 24, I had 33 works in progress, or UFOs. It's more than that now. I think it's gone up to about 56 because I've got other projects that have started and not finished. So this needs updating. I just haven't got around to doing it with one reason and another. But that's how I sort of track all my projects, and I decide, excuse me, I just need to pick up these pictures because John Scott's sitting on my... I think I've met John Scott quite a lot. You can sort of tell how he's got older. I better not tell him that. Yeah, so what was I saying then? Oh, works and projects. Yeah. So yeah, I keep a record like that because it helps me decide if I am going to submit a quilt into Festival Quilts as well. So I think if you can start a record like that, I keep fabric swatches to remind me of what I've used. I print out a final picture and I stick it in there as well. And also it gave me a good excuse to make this because this is the most beautiful handmade felt from Tallinn in Estonia, and they actually make boots out of this for, you know, snow boots, and then they waterproof them. It's just the most beautiful felt, so obviously I had to do something with it, so that's my little UFO book. Right, so if anyone's going to Festival Quilts, drop me a message, let me know when you're going to be there. I know some of you are going to be there Friday, Saturday, depending on Sunday, but definitely I'll definitely have time to come and meet up with you, have a chat. I've got some badges and pens to give out, so if you see me, come and grab a badge and a pen. What was I going to say? Yeah, and also I need to see what you're buying. So if you get any goodies, can you please share all your goodies, because I don't want to miss anything. And I probably won't be doing my buying till maybe Sunday. Yeah, because I don't think I'll have the time really with things that are on and everything. So I'll probably do all my buying on Sunday. I'll scout round and see what's there and then maybe finalise on Sunday. So if you are going Thursday, Friday, Saturday and you do end up with a really good haul, can you please share your photographs on my Netty Made or Netty Made Makers Facebook site, or Instagram, tag me in at Netty Made 2024 and just show me what you've got, because I would hate to miss out on anything, especially notions, gadgets or rulers. I have now, keep my fingers crossed here, I do not want to buy any fabric at Festival of Quilts. I can't get any more fabric in my room, so I'm not going with the intention of buying fabric, she says. But I am on the lookout for new notions, new rulers. There's one called Wonder Curve that I really would like to see if any of the exhibitors are carrying. It's designed by a company called So Kind of Wonderful in the States, but the postage is awful from the States. So if there's any UK exhibitors selling that one, I would definitely want a Wonder Curve, because obviously after all the curve piecing I've done recently, any way of making that whole thing easier without having to pin or, you know, glue based the curves into place to hold them into place, anything that helps with that, definitely, that's what I'm up for. So yeah, so if you've actually exhibited from festival quilts as well, or you know someone who has, please share pictures of their quilts, or any quilts that you've got in the making. Maybe are you worried that maybe it's not good enough to go into festivals? Just share it, and I'm sure you'll get lots of sound advice off everybody. And for me personally, if you ever come to me and said, should I submit this, my answer is always going to be yes, for sure. Because you know, there's always going to be somebody who's going to really appreciate the work that you've done. There was a quilt last year by a lady who had spent 2 years. It was all English paper pieced, and I think it was 1-inch hexes, and this was a super king size quilt. It was stunning, all hand sewn, all all hand pieced, and people were just walking past it. Now I'm an English paper piece and I love English and hand sewing, and I just stood there for ages and just admired it and looked at it and was getting close up. Oh, just as a heads up, if you've never been to festival, don't touch the quilts. There are stewards with white gloves on who will really growl at you, so don't touch the quilts. And also, heads up here, if you enter a quilt, the judges' feedback is pinned onto the back of your quilt, and it'll be there by Thursday morning. Don't take it off, because you're not supposed to. That is supposed to stay pinned onto your quilt, and that will be returned to you. I took it off and got shouted at the first time I ever went, so yeah, don't do that. You'll get shouted at. But if you do want to see the back of a quilt, the steward, just see a steward, the women, normally women with white gloves, there are some men now, just ask one of them and they will lift it up and show you it as well. So if there is anything you want to see, they will do it for you. Just don't do it yourself, otherwise you will get, you know, you will get growled at quite a lot. And some of them are very fierce, believe me. Not you, Margaret, if you're watching, not you, bless you, you're a lovely steward. But yeah, they will growl at you, so don't do that. The other thing I want to say as well, you know, if you don't want, you want to hang your quilt, you're really proud of it, but you don't want it to be judged, you just want to display it, there is now a new category called For the Joy of Sharing, and that is actually the category that the So Happy Quilters Association is sponsoring this year as well. And that's basically, you just send your quilt in and it's just hung for people to love and enjoy. And that category is getting much bigger actually. It started off quite small, I think. Was it last year? Or it might have been the year before, I'm not sure. But yeah, I think it's getting to be a much bigger quilt because people just want to submit it, but they don't really want the criticism or the feedback. Well, let's not say criticism, let's say feedback from the judges. But me personally, I think if you want to improve your skills and move forward and decide which is the way you want to go with your quilting journey, I would always say put a quilt in, get it judged once, and then just take it from there really, and just decide what you want to do with that information. For me, I mean, I've got over the trauma of, you know, binding gate, as some of my friends call it. And I've since bound a lot of quilts and I've been very happy with them. But let's just say I might not be putting wide binding on any of my quilts in the future. I think I'll stick to me 1/4 inch binding, but we'll see. I might just go rogue and do a really 1-inch one year and just go to the judges. Well, you know, you've got to have new techniques introduced, haven't you, every so often. So, you know, yeah, there's always got to be something new, and there's always got to be a first person to do something new. So we'll see. Anyway, I'm not going to keep you or bore you any longer. I just wanted to sort of give you like my side of it from Festival Quilts. I hope that's been interesting. If anyone's got any questions, please just message, comment on the video, and I'll reply as soon as I can. And hello Kerry, I've just seen your lovely message. Thank you, my darling. I saw your Christmas workshops at Glasgow and the NEC towards the end of the year, so I will probably be coming to the second one, not Glasgow, the second one. I think it was the NEC, wasn't it? So I'll probably come along there because you're doing Christmas workshops, aren't you? Me and you, Mrs. and Mrs. Christmas, aren't we? We love Christmas. Yeah, because I watched Kerry make her Christmas baubles one year and she got me just totally addicted to them, and now I teach my version of Christmas baubles as well. So yeah, so if you are, can I just give a shout out to the Gateway Collective as well, because that's the community garden that I'm involved with. They're based in Bootle in the Liverpool, the northwest of the UK. From September they've actually got funding now to provide free fortnightly craft classes, not just sewing classes but craft classes. So for the next 10 months I'll be going there for 2 hours every Thursday morning. So it starts on the 11th of September and it's fortnightly, so every Thursday fortnightly, if you get my meaning. The first session's the 11th of September, that's introduction to cross stitch. Everything you need for that class is provided. So basically you're going to get a free kit every time you turn up. The second one is going to be an introduction to beginners knitting, where you will have a project to knit and you get full kit for that. And then in October we're having Christmas in October, so that's Christmas baubles, 3 ways, Christmas stars, Christmas wreaths, and then we go into November and you will be making a advent calendar, and also I've got 2 Christmas cushions that you will be able to decide on. But you will get a kit for each one, so you can make one in the class and you can take one home to finish at home as well. And then we have a break for December, and then January 26th we have a 3-month beginners patchwork, 9-block patchwork mini quilt course, and that's every fortnight. So if you are based in Liverpool and you can get to the garden, or you know someone who can, please come along and join in. Don't get much for free this these days, do you? And if you want to learn a different craft or spend 2 hours with like-minded people, please do come along, and I think you will love it. And also the coffee and the cake is freshly made, and all the ingredients are mostly fresh from the garden as well, so what's not to love? Thank you very much. I'm off now. Enjoy your Tuesday. If you're off to festival this week, have an amazing time. I do hope to bump into you, and I will give some sort of roundup next week when I come back and I've recovered from the manic 5 days that are coming up this week, which I will enjoy, but they are going to be busy. So I'm back Sunday evening, so I'll probably just like chill Monday. So I might pop on and see you Tuesday and let you know if I've got any goodies. So take care and love to you all, and thanks for watching today. Bye now.